Hey, Chris Day.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, Rachel.
Hey.
Okay, let's see. Um, is DJ coming in?
Let me share with him. He's not here with me.
Oh, he's not. Hey,
No.
Liz. Welcome in, friends. Oh, hey, Rachel. I didn't see you. And anybody that would like to come up is welcome to come up. I was kind of thinking of doing, everybody has their own round table, the red table, the view, the this, the that. They all get heard, but there's not a lot of round tables for the people.
Right?
And I think as the people, we should be able to talk about policy that we would actually want instead of a few people coming up to a conclusion of what we should have that are out of
Right.
touch with us. Oh, okay, here's Liz. And anybody's welcome to come up, of course. Oh,
Oh, she dropped out.
must have not meant to request out. So I was going to try to get a couple people from all different sides, whether
Okay.
you voted or didn't vote, whether you voted for Trump or voted for Kamala, or did you want to come up, Liz? You're welcome to. Hey, Harriet, I'm doing great today. I'm trying to no offense against you. I just want to get for the people to realize what they want may not completely align with what is going on at the moment, but also what we should have and what we do want, and stuff like that. Open conversation, kind of like almost a debate, but not really. That's okay. I'm not myself right now. I don't care about anything. Oh, that's okay, Rachel. I'll message you more after. Hello, friends. How are we doing today? Oh,
Goodness.
sorry. You know me and my doctor. But I just I want to see what people think, and what is what they align with, and what they would do if they were in a position of power. Because I don't want to narrow mind it into anything specific, but also I want to understand what we all actually want. Like, yes, we do want border control. We do want people that have done stuff bad to go back to
Where they, wherever they came from.
exactly, not for people that are stuck in a process of legal paperwork
No.
and are not stuck here, but not stuck there. And it's like they're getting sent home too. So I don't think everyone necessarily knows that some of the people that even are doing it legally, technically, they're still not here legally. Hey, DJ, you want to come up? Hey, Harriet. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. There he is. And I've been listening to a couple different podcasts and a couple different people, and it's like I don't want to necessarily debate, but I want to understand where we're all coming from, because we're all necessarily coming from here in the middle,
Yeah.
but something keeps on doing this, and then next thing you know, nothing's working. So
Agree with that.
if anybody else would like to come up, I really would love some fresh perspective, whether you voted, you didn't vote, You voted for Trump. You voted for Kamala. You voted third party. Um, you like history. You don't like history. If you're a U.S. citizen, let's talk. Let's try to get some ideas flowing. Let's understand the inner works of the actual American and what we all want. Like for instance, um okay, so a big topic is the school system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was a person in charge, Um, I don't necessarily disagree with the fact that there is something wrong with the school system. However, I don't think it should be completely defunded and taken away from, um, different classes that could be provided. So, on one hand, it's like, actually, I would never take money away from a school, so I can't say that. So, let's see. I don't know where I was trying to go with that. I was going somewhere and I completely lost my thought.
There's
Happens to be
ADHD for
awfully,
you.
I know. I haven't had my medicine in a while. What'd you say, DJ?
as it happens to me often, especially on
Um.
broccoli.
All
You're
right.
talking about the school system and wanting not to
Oh yeah,
defund.
that's right. So what I would do is not make. There would be no private schools. I don't believe there should be private schools. Why are you allowed to pay for a better education? It should just kind of all be a better education.
I agree on that one.
You
I
what?
agree with that.
Okay. Um. hmm. Um.
Yeah, why should you get a better education because you pay for it? Why
Yeah,
can't we
I
all
don't
get the same education?
because we're told that we all get these tools here for success, but then end up not having the actual tools in the toolbox for success.
Well, and what I don't understand is why is school system in, let's say, New York different than the school system and let's say where I'm at in Florida? Why aren't we taught the same?
We need. Hey, yo, Adrian, of other countries.
Oh
You're
yeah,
welcome to
so
come up,
entry
Rachel, if you like
level.
to. And you're
You're
welcome
not
to come
wrong.
up, yo, Adrian. What were you saying?
She's not wrong.
In other countries who have been extreme. Yes, I completely agree there as well. Yes, Rachel. Rachel has a mind I could pick for days. I could see it in her eyes. I'm just kidding.
What could wait? What? Can you
I'm
guys
just,
hear me?
yeah, I
Yes,
can
you
hear
can
you.
now.
Okay. Oh, you don't want my opinion because I'll never stop.
Oh, please, 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 please. Because I've been bored and I've been wanting to talk.
Listen, everything that's going on right now has to do with the billionaires and all this stuff about creating schools with privatizing schools or having what do they call them, vouchers.
Wait, what? They're actually doing something opposite of what I was just describing?
Do you guys understand Project 2025?
Honestly, no,
I didn't
because
even know there was a Project
I heard
2025.
about
Okay,
it and then I
so
heard it was bad.
here's the problem. People have been there's so much. I've been following this for so long, okay? And I've been telling people since over 10 years ago that this was
Oh,
coming down the
wow.
pike. And that first of all, Trump went bankrupt 6 times, couldn't borrow money in the United States. All right? I got to be careful the words I use too here because I got to remember that they're suppressing stuff. So he couldn't borrow money in the United States. He went to Russia to borrow money. So the fact that we allowed him to even become president the first time was insane. Okay, because that's a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having private meetings with the Russians.
I didn't know that.
Oh
Yep.
my God, guys, seriously.
I didn't know that first
Oh
part.
my God, the things that have been going on. Let me tell you, you want to listen to somebody that'll teach you some stuff? Listen to Rachel Maddow. She's on 9 o'clock MSNBC. I'm not watching the news at all anymore, but I go on to watch her because she is a genius at putting the facts together and following the money. And we've been telling people this for so long that Trump does not want to leave office. He did not want to leave office the last time, and he tells you exactly what he's going to do. Okay, he was saying the last time, he was plotting the whole time. Oh, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. The mail-in votes. The this, the that. Okay, plotting ahead of time so that if he lost, because he knew he was going to lose. Okay, he knew he was going to lose. So he was setting it up to say, "Oh, stop the steal." Right? But here's some of the other guilty parties. The billionaires that own Fox News and all the right-wing media. Okay? They're all in bed with the billionaires. We're becoming an oligarchy right now.
Becoming, we are.
Right. And this is because, and let me tell you something, Trump did not win this election. He did not win this election. There are data analysts right now that are going through the data, like insanely intelligent, highly educated data scientists that are like, this is not right. Something is wrong.
When was
Thousands of
Nixon president?
60s.
How was anybody like teenage and above in the 60s to remember Nixon being president?
I was too young.
I don't remember him being president, but I know enough about him.
Do you see any similarities?
No. Nixon, I mean, he was a narcissist. Trump is, what blows me away is that people actually
That's the name of
like
it. What
him.
blows me away.
How do people like him? I mean, there's so much shit on him with Epstein Island, that they had parties at Mar-a-Lago, that there's all kinds of people who took him to court. There's a 13-year-old he raped. There's a whole, I mean, you can pull it up on YouTube, her whole story. So
I've heard a lot of that lately.
this has been going on for years. He's a piece of shit. He is a narcissist. He's a spoiled fucking 2-year-old. Anybody that likes him is fucking brain dead. It's like they're playing team sports. They're playing, the Patriots against, it's like a football game, and they're just so,
Hey, Holy Kennels.
Hello.
they've dug their feet in so deep, they won't let go of it. But I also blame the Democrats, because the Democrats are effing pussies.
I blame both sides probably since Reaganomics.
Actually,
They've
I would
allowed
say
it to
that
happen.
I've been saying this for a long time. We haven't crossed party lines since Reagan. Not Reagan, since Clinton. Like, we haven't agreed on shit in 30 years. I think, and it's ridiculous. It's sad.
Yeah,
More
because
about
they
just
need
making
to.
money from the lobbyist and
Right.
from everybody. There's nobody that is actually representing us.
Correct.
No, money needs to be taken out of politics.
Yes, I agree with that.
Congress and the senators should not be allowed to buy stock. There's so many things that
That's
need
right.
to change. There should be term limits. Okay.
Yes,
Now
definitely.
the court is packed because Trump got his disgusting, dirty judges in. We already had Thomas, who's like being bought off by the billionaires, and Ginny, his friggin' wife was in a cult before. She had to be deprogrammed out of a cult. And she was part of the whole January 6th thing, okay? So why aren't these people in jail? Why aren't they in jail? I mean, we're guilty. I say we because I'm a Democrat, but the Democrats are just as guilty
We're all
at
just as guilty.
but there are some good Democrats like AOC and people that are calling out the Democrats too.
Hmm.
And
I've noticed that a lot lately too, calling out against.
we
Because the thing
need
is, we're not just two parties. We're a people. Like the two party system, even George Washington didn't want two parties. And they wanted him to basically be a new king for the after the revolution. And he was like, no, I don't want to serve any more terms. And he's like, just you should be 2 terms.
people want a leader, people want a strong man, a boss, and it's mostly people who are uneducated. It's not all of them. I mean, I know some educated people that are Trumpers, but that has to do with their pocketbook. And I'm not going to vote against. I don't care if it affects my pocketbook because I am not going to vote against people that I love and people's rights. And they're going after transgender. They're going after, the LGBTQ community. They're going after immigrants that aren't even. They're hardworking immigrants that have nothing to do with being criminals.
I know I saw they're rolling back a lot of discriminational.
Yeah.
DEI
Oh,
programs.
thank you. Yeah, things for companies. But I don't
Listen,
know when will
this
that
look
even
up.
when does that go into effect? That probably goes
That
into
is
effect
already going
already.
into effect. And
Yeah,
let me
I
tell you,
know.
we've been telling these effing I can't even, that Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, these are the things you guys need to be looking up and reading about. The Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. I can give you about 6 documentaries you can watch about it. And you will be horrified. The white nationalists that are actually bringing their children into these little like camps to train them and like
Isn't
it's
that
insane.
technically like indoctoring?
Yes.
Indoctrinating, yeah. So then there's a documentary on I think it's called, let me think of the name of it.
Wait a second, hold on. I'm sorry because if that's indoctoring, and then the LGBTQ plus, that's a lot of letters for me. My gay community, is indoctrinating these little kids by drag show readings and whatnot, and it's now illegal. What? Huh? Why is it okay for? Huh?
So listen, this has all got to do with Christian nationalism. This has got to do with let me tell you right now, Trump is not religious. He's a puppet for Russia. He's a puppet for the white nationalists. And now a bunch of these Christians, not all Christians, but there's a lot of these churches that the reason why they're on his side was because of the abortion ban. Okay. So all of these things come together and it's like a storm. It's like, this is a purposeful this has been happening for a long time and he just happens to be the big dummy that came along and he's a puppet for them. He's a puppet. So, Russia, it's obvious that Putin has things on Trump and also Lindsey Graham, all these people that hated Trump and
How
all of a
long
sudden
is Putin allowed to be in power for? Is he in power for his life?
he reigns, he's like a king. He's not,
Oh, okay.
I mean,
He keeps changing the rules like every time
it's
it
I
comes
thought so.
around and fixes the vote towards himself. He had a president there for a little while and then he flip flopped with him right after that and hasn't left office since.
okay. And that's what we're in store for, guys. That's where we're going. That's what's happening because we allowed this man to cheat in this election because he fucking cheated. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well,
He
he
did
even
not
said
win.
something about I had somebody go to Pennsylvania and he was good with the books, and then we got Pennsylvania within the night.
Elon helped him. Elon
Yeah, he
helped
was talking
him,
about Elon at that moment,
and
and that was out of his mouth.
there's just so many things, man. There's been so many warnings the whole time. I mean, I've always been able to judge people. I've always, in 2 seconds, I know whether they're my kind of people or not, and whether I want anything to do with them. I have an intuition with it. And I never liked Trump. Trump doesn't pay his fucking people. He doesn't pay his workers. He bankrupts companies because they'll do a bid and they think, oh, I got this great job from Trump, and Trump never paid his people. He fought to not. There's so many documentaries on Trump that you can watch that you will have some enlightenment on what he is like. He's a spoiled child. Read his book. Read the book his cousin wrote. What's her name? Mary Trump.
Oh, I saw an interview on that. So
I read her book.
If you were president, because I really, I hate all of it. I feel like we have the wrong kind of representation. I feel like Congress should be completely at this point wiped out. Not wiped out as in like deceit. I feel like as in restructured.
Restructured, new
And it should
people, new faces.
be built based off of representation, off of race, off of, I'm sorry, maybe not race, but like there should be a lot more.
Diversity.
Yeah, actually,
Well, there should
if
be a
it was
lot more.
based off
There
of
should be a
race, then
lot
they would have
more.
more representation.
There should
Everyone
be
would.
money needs to be taken out of it, okay? And all
Yes.
these little side gigs that they have where they're becoming millionaires.
So, do you
And
think they should all make federal minimum wage?
no, I don't think they should make
I do.
minimum wage, but I think that they should. This is a service job. This is a service job, but it's
Yes.
become a dirty job.
Laundering job.
It's
Well,
more of a like a underhanded job. You know, they get, it's a dirty underhanded job now. You know, it's not
One of the biggest things that
It's not-
yeah.
no, go ahead, Denny.
One of the biggest things that they made a mistake on is when they allowed corporate companies to act as voting individual entities like a person. I think it's something United. I can't remember the name of it. That was what allowed corporations to start contributing to
Who was denied
political,
access?
basically allowed to basically donate funds above and beyond what the norm was prior to that. And now that we have allowed that, basically these politicians are bought and sold every day.
Yeah.
right, and they don't want to let go of that.
Nope.
And they became. Do you know how much richer they became when Trump was in office? Trump was doing underhanded shit all over the place.
How much does the president make?
$100 grand or so. I don't
Yeah, a
remember.
couple 200 grand.
Not as much as you would think.
But
No.
he, there's other things they get. There's other things that,
Titans and-
for life they
Yeah.
have.
He gets protected the rest of his life. He gets so
He
much
also
money every
gets,
year.
pensions and all this shit. Like there's all kinds of stuff. There's they get huge money when they speak places. There's all kinds of that stuff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But corporations and PACs, they shouldn't allow PACs. They shouldn't allow pharmaceutical companies and corporations to buy people and buy off the judges. And there's so much underhanded shit going on.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, if you think about if they had to work off of the baseline federal minimum wage, then they would work harder to increase that minimum wage. And because
They wouldn't take
well,
the job. They wouldn't take the job.
that's fine. Don't have the crooks take the job. Because I would take a job and I don't need to be paid that. I'm sure we would have a lot of people that actually like politics that would come out of underground at this point because everyone's afraid to talk about politics because it's like, ooh, oh, scary, scary, scary. Because it's
I'm not
not at
afraid
this
to
point,
talk
it's not
about it.
even a difference of opinion or difference of politics. It's difference of like, at this point, some stuff right and wrong. There's a lot of stuff going on, and they shouldn't be able to. What and an NDA? How many of them have NDAs? And the reason why so many celebrities, allegedly, is gets away with stuff is because of NDAs. And how many people in Congress have NDAs because they spent money here and there? No, I would much rather have, if we want decent, honest people, Then go based off of the federal minimum wage, because then anybody working off a minimum wage is going to have to be paid at least what a servant for the people get paid.
Kyle,
Huh.
what I was gonna tell you is what I just said a little bit ago. It's Citizens United was the 2010 ruling where Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission is when they allowed a century-old decision to be reversed, where you weren't allowed to have campaign funds from corporate companies. Now they treat them like like an individual citizen.
You said 2006?
No, 2010.
2010?
Called
Was
Citizens United, and it was
that when
anything
you
but
were
something for citizens.
Junior?
Right.
Was that Bush Junior?
No, Citizens United was 2010. I don't remember who was in power, but I think it might have been Bush Jr.
Obama. Was it
Was it
Obama?
Obama?
But it wasn't Obama that actually made the decision. It was a Supreme Court ruling.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they had the majority. They wouldn't let Obama get anything done, and
Yeah,
that and Obama could have made some great changes for us, but no, they blocked him on every single occasion. So it just goes back and forth, tit for tat, and they,
I call it tit for tat too, because
and we
it's
never
always
get
Democrat,
anywhere.
Democrat, well, that Democrat,
And you know what? If you look at history, every Republican that's been in office has tanked our economy, and then the Democrats pull us out, and then they vote another Republican in, and the Republican tanks the economy, and then the Democrat pulls us out, and they blame each other, and we never fucking get anywhere. Okay?
So
We need another party. We need another party.
We need a party. I've said that too. We need a party that's more in the middle because, like, for example, I'm a
Yeah, I
Democrat,
agree.
There should
but
be
I'm more.
5 parties.
But I'm more. For example, I'm more center leaning for the most part. So, like, I always
Me
tell
too.
people on social issues, I'm a Democrat all the way.
Yeah.
On money and the Second Amendment, and I'm more Republican. I'm an armed
Yeah.
Democrat. I'm an oxymoron. I don't fit in anybody's freaking
Box.
I feel the same way. Like people think that, that we don't like guns. Like we don't like, I am a Democrat, but I also am very much in the middle too. And
Yeah.
I do look at both things, but now it's just become extremism. And so
Yeah.
they're living in a bubble, like in their
Labeling.
news. So they're watching, these news channels like Fox News and what's the other one? AON or I forget what it's called. And there's
Well,
one
it's all
other
the
one.
news is because they're pretty much owned by 2 people, and those 2 people are friends. They're pretty much sleeping with each other, allegedly.
Well, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And now Trump is trying to get rid of. Now they're trying to take out PBS and
Oh, I heard about
PBS?
that.
What did PBS do?
and NPR. It's the only news channel that there is that is literally like not.
Center.
Independent.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Very
And so-
centered.
They're going into it trying to pull funding from CBS, not CBS, PBS, and what's the other one?
NPR.
NPR. Yeah,
yeah.
they're basically going in, and any of the public radio stations, they're trying to basically say that it's a short version. It's a waste of money. The guy that's running this thing for him is essentially intending on defunding programs.
That's what
And you know what
happened
it's
in
about?
Russia.
And you know what it's about? It's about Project 2025. They are going after, they are basically using Hitler's book.
Yeah.
They,
Nikita, stop it.
or I shouldn't say that word. I should say
Mustache man.
Mustache Man. So Mustache Man, who do you think he went after first? He did not go after them first. He went after your community, Kyle. That's who he went after first. And then he went after some other people. And then he went after the ones that we know about.
Isn't there a poem? It was them. It was first them, and I didn't say anything. And then
Right.
it was them, and I still didn't say anything. And then it was me, and there was no one left to say anything.
Yep.
And that's exactly what's happening. And you know what? I'm calm as hell now because I fought and fought and fought the last time against him and to try to convince people and to try to say, what do you see in this man that has no qualities that are decent? He does not know what it's like. They think, oh, because he speaks his mind and he's like, yeah, he's going to clean the swamp. He is the swamp.
So that brings me to a point of also when we say we're going back and forth with Dem and Republican, it's kind of almost, besides everyone's fault, it's almost always the older generation's fault for never fully teaching and allowing the younger generation to know past what they remember. Because if I noticed one thing being on here throughout this last couple weeks, it is the younger generation between 35 and 18 that all were like, oh, it was amazing during his last presidency for economics. Really, it's never been that great in my lifetime for me. So this whole make it great again, or like, what time period are we talking about? Because my family has pretty much went from middle class to lower middle class to higher lower class. Like, I don't even know where we are anymore, but it's not even, there's no middle class.
But Trump doesn't even have policies that help the middle class. He's
Right, I
just
agree.
everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. The only reason why the economy was as good as it was when he was in office was because we were on a rise.
Exactly. There's always
We were
that
coming out
cycle.
of the shit. Okay, and he just happened to get lucky. The tax relief he gave people, they thought they were getting tax relief. He had something in place where, okay, you get this little bit of tax relief, and then after 2 or 3 years, or when he's just leaving the presidency, it goes back to we get screwed, and the billionaires are the ones with the tax breaks. And people didn't understand it. They didn't understand his that tax policy until it hit them. And then they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, okay." But all these things you think would be enough for people to see through him, and what is it? Like what? It's the news. It's the news they listen to. They don't hear the same things that I'm hearing. Like when I talk to people, or people that just don't listen to the news. Like, there's so much information out there, and you guys really need to watch some of those documentaries I'm talking about. I got to think of the name of the one with Jerry Farewell. Do you know what it is, DJ? Um,
I think there's one on Hulu actually. Oh, we
She
won't
just
hear you
paused.
while you're paused, but I know you're just looking up something. She's gonna come back. I just gotta look up. Yeah, I know you're fine.
I don't remember what she asked me. I don't remember the name of the guy either.
I've seen a couple recently about there's a couple documentaries about the Heritage Foundation itself and Project 25. I didn't know anything about this until maybe probably a couple months ago actually.
It's been out for a while.
Well, apparently, I mean, like she said 10 years.
it's called God Forbid.
Gotcha.
So that's one you guys should definitely watch. But there's others that are just incredible, like that people that voted for Trump won't watch it. They won't see it. They won't watch it. They won't read his cousin Mary Trump's book. They won't,
So
learn.
I wonder if there's a level of the won't just because sometimes sometimes like when you're in a toxic relationship, you just feel so against going back to it. Like, what if some people are just so burned and burnt out by the opposite party that they absolutely just refuse anything different about their own because once again we only have two parties.
Well,
Right.
not only the two
Let me tell
parties.
you.
When you look at that and the different TV shows, we're being conditioned to do that. And instead of
Right.
fighting the conditioning, we're doing it.
No, that's true.
Instead of listening to our neighbor and hearing what they have to say, we get into a shouting match of whose leader sucks more.
And then worry about who's in my house. Don't worry about who's in my house unless you're gonna start paying my bills.
Yeah, and
Or then you have the people that say, "I don't care unless it affects my pocketbook." Well,
Hmm.
okay, you're screwing your fellow man by doing that.
Did you actually know that immigrants put so much money into the GDP that it's unreal?
What's funny is this the whole thing with immigration. I get it. I don't want open borders. I'm not saying that, but I'll give
Right.
you. I use this example quite a bit. Georgia or Alabama, one of them experimented with this and got rid of all their, not all of them, but basically did a hard line against immigration. Guess what? The following year, they had no one to pick their fields. They
Right.
tried to hire Americans. They tried to hire inmates. No one wanted to fucking do it. No one wanted to pick fucking fruit. Nobody. And they had to backtrack on it. So it's like we've already tested this shit prior.
Right.
If you have a way to give them a social security number, if you have a way to get them woefully employed and paying taxes, I have zero problem with them. That was
Right.
the whole point of America. Why the hell do we have the Statue of Liberty? And if you're not going to abide by that, then tear the Statue of Liberty down because we no longer represent a united people.
Thank you so much for bringing up the Statue of Liberty because I actually, unlike a lot of Americans, probably, I guess, my family came from European countries and then settled over here. So, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel
We're
like
all immigrants.
if you're not Native
Yes.
American, I feel like you might somewhere down the line not actually belong here. Um, so like, let's see, in the 1820s and 1850s, it was Italians from Naples. Let's see, Naples, and then let's see,
Ireland. They
Ireland.
treated the Irish like shit in
Yep.
the
So
Yeah.
day.
like, it's hey, Cicely. You can come up too, sis, if you want. We're kind of talking about everything at this point. Um, but like, my point was like the Germans came over and they made such a huge impact in Connecticut, and then, or not Connecticut but Pennsylvania, and then Switzerland people came over and they made an impact in Connecticut, and then the French and the UK area and the Italians from New York to Minnesota, like everything greatly impacted the economy every generation. And then wasn't it when I was younger, I feel like it was a big religion coming over at that point because Seventh
Catholics,
Heaven made a big deal about it.
Catholics used to be treated like crap.
Well,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that might be karma.
Not in there. Not well.
Yeah.
That's. I'm Catholic, but
Not as a whole, not as a whole, but
but I'm
the
talking before your generation, before you were even born, and before I was even born. They were treated like shit in the United States for no other reason other than the fact that they were.
well, yes, because the people that came over from the Mayflower were technically the losers of Europe, and the losers of Europe were not Christian and Catholic.
Of their war, yes.
Well, there were some, but not a majority
I know
were.
what you mean.
Because like they were wanting to Buddhist, I believe, Kyle. I believe Buddhist is the religion that was coming from when we were kids. I remember that. I think it was like a Seventh Heaven episode. But what?
Did you lose what you were saying?
Yeah, Nikita's been biting on my hand. I'm sorry, guys.
She's like,
Nikita's trying
I'd
to
like
play
some
with me.
attention, please.
Even though I give her attention all day. But like each time we allow the refugees of whatever natural disaster, political disaster, because like the Italians came over because of natural and political disaster. Germans came over because of political disaster. The Irish came over because of natural and famine disasters. Like each group is coming over from a disaster. Do we forget every generation? Like that's why I'm saying it's the problem with the older generation not teaching the younger generation and taking out all the education, because if you just allowed everyone to be educated how the America was founded, first of all of its history, whether it you lost the
Well,
war
every
or won the war,
generation changes history.
that's true.
Every
That is
single
true.
generation. As a matter of fact, they just changed history again in the school books. they took out a lot of history out of the school books, and they're not teaching kids about what just happened in history. I can't
Right.
remember what it was recently that they
It's
took out.
part of Project 2025 in Florida is
No,
one
I'm
of the
not talking
worst.
about that. Not
Oh,
that's recent. I'm talking about past history that happened when we
oh,
were growing up as kids.
oh.
They took out of the school books um, that we grew up with, and they changed history. Now these kids won't be taught what we were taught. So it's almost as if every generation, the reason you're not knowing what happened in our generation is because you're not taught it, not by us, but our generation changed that. Just like this generation already, the president's changing all this shit, right? Well, that's because next generation, when your kids grow up, they're not going to know the same history that you know.
They're not going to
because
know
they're
any history because they're banning books and
because they're
getting
gonna
rid
be
of
fighting
schools.
so hard to get
Exactly.
it back.
Right. Well, you won't get some of it back. That's the thing.
Exactly. Because every time we lose something, we don't get something back.
They're trying to
No.
strip all of that, and it's very scary shit going on. I'll tell you right
Divide
now.
and conquer, basically.
Yes, it's always been a divide and conquer, and I don't know when they started doing that because it's like we vote these people in, and we still don't realize it's just so it really does go back to the education, and I wish
Come
people
on.
would understand that because it's like don't take away somebody else's education just because you didn't get it.
Now, I will say, as parents, it is a responsibility to teach your kids directly the information that the society's not
Yeah,
teaching.
I agree.
Wait, I'm sorry. I had to let Nikita out. Could you repeat that?
I've said, as a parent, it is at the end of the day our responsibility to teach our direct children what society is not teaching them. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I do. And well, and it's kind of hard because not every parent got that good education, so they
Well, and a lot of us weren't taught by our parents what we should have been taught, nor were we taught right in the schools. So when you become parents, we weren't we don't know anything to teach our children.
and
Right,
most of and
I
no
hate to
offense,
say
but
that,
most
but
of your
but
parents
it's
dropped
true.
out.
But it's true.
I hate to say that, but I became a parent at 18. And I'll be honest, I didn't know shit from shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hmm.
And
everybody's situation is different. You're right, Christy.
I grew up with an alcoholic mother and a father that was never home. Who was teaching me anything? They didn't teach me how to clean. They didn't teach me how to cook. They didn't teach me nothing, but I had to learn how to raise myself. So now you throw me into being a mother. I don't know how to be a mom. I was never taught how to even raise myself. You know what I mean? Now I got to raise a child. And now, I'm
Yeah.
expecting the school to teach my child an education that I can't teach them because I didn't get an education.
And you pay taxes for that.
Yes, but look what kind of education they really give.
And
Right.
and they also treat teachers like crap. I mean,
Yes,
Oh.
they do.
teachers
Yes,
should
they
have
do.
better benefits, better pay.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just
And there
insane.
shouldn't be private schools
I
because
don't
that takes it
understand
away
why
from
they're
them.
not paid more and considered, higher up and, like at least like a state employee,
Yeah, most
not
You
like
know
a
teachers now
what? I
county
have
agree.
employee.
Teachers
PhDs.
should be state employees.
Not a county employee. They should be a state employee because they take on such a responsibility with these kids and they should have
Yep.
state benefits.
I actually
They do have
100
union.
completely agree with that.
Um, the thing is that we should have, like, there's many countries that are doing things right, like Denmark and other countries that their school system, like their peace of mind, their well-being, their mental health is so much better than ours because they don't have to worry about health insurance. They don't have to worry
Right.
about that they can't afford, if something happens or if they miss if they get sick, they're going to be out in the streets homeless. They don't have to worry about health insurance. They don't have to
Ooh.
worry about schooling. There's free education in all of these other countries. Why don't we have free education, at least at the state level college? should be free to everybody. You know, okay, if you want to send your kid to an Ivy League school, go ahead. Or if it's like, you know, but there should be a degree of free college to
Yeah,
everyone.
everybody should have at least a way to get educated.
I completely agree. Crap, you said something and it like popped in my brain.
I mean, this is what all these other countries are doing. And then we just learned from the Chinese app that we all joined over there that they don't
About rent?
they like that yeah, they'll buy a property
Oh,
and
and did not have property tax?
they don't have to pay property tax. It's not just them. There's other countries like that too, but they own it and that's it. They own it. But because
Oh, now everything.
everything here is based on
Profit?
yeah, well, yeah, we've been poisoned for
Shareholders?
years,
Hmm.
you know, because it's all about profit and you know,
You know what I
isn't
didn't realize, and I watched a whole thing on it, was the poison that they put on all our vegetables and our meats and everything else. That they feed the cows and the
yep,
Pesticide.
chickens and all this stuff, the pesticides.
yeah,
What I didn't know is the same company that made Agent Orange in Vietnam is the same company that makes the pesticide Roundup.
Monsanto.
Yeah, and all those things that they put on all these plants and all these pesticides, same company made the Agent Orange.
And guess what?
Bombastic
They're
side eye.
they're banned in every other country. These
Yes, they
chemicals
are.
are banned everywhere else.
Yep.
When I travel to Europe, okay, like I people are so much smaller and thinner and healthier and because their food is not full of poison.
Yeah.
Their food is not full of
I've
poison.
heard that a lot actually. Um, so in one of the lives I was listening to, the guest was actually Canadian living here, and he was like, everything was so much better under the last administration, blah 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 blah. Did you guys know that Italian slaves were a thing in the 1700s to 1900s? Where? No, here. I did not know that. Actually, that makes sense. Um, so he was talking about how his taxes here were lower and some other things, but to the point, um, a don't make fun of me when I say EMTs are only
Ambulance.
thank you are only $50 in Canada.
Right.
To have a baby is $35.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and in Europe and most of the European countries, they get like, you know, 6 months to a year of leave when they have a child and
Actually, Harriet, you're
paid
welcome to come
leave.
up if you want.
Paid leave, they
More
get way
time
mo-
too,
way
don't they?
more vacation than we do because I work with the people in Europe in my job. I'm a biotech recruiter, and you know some of the companies I work with, you know, like we work with Germany and stuff like that. They're on a total different schedule. They're on vacation all the time. Like they're
Isn't
like
that wow?
it's incredible. They're you know they may not
They don't
um
stress.
yeah, and here's the thing. If it was like, oh, you have a chance though in America to become super rich and blah 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 blah. Look at how many people are super rich. Not too many. So it's not working.
Right.
That's just for the doctor.
And billionaires shouldn't even be allowed to be billionaires. It should be cut off at a certain point.
I
You know what
think
I mean?
something cut off Sicily.
There's a few things I'd like to cut off.
Well, okay.
But don't
I
bump.
compared all of this to the Wizard of Oz. And also I heard somebody say that it was pretty much 1971 when we got away from the gold standard is really when the economy began to shift. But I don't. This is a lot of me of hearing stuff. I don't remember studying a lot of this stuff. I'm more focused on European and world history because I didn't care for American history, to be honest with you.
Because it's ugly.
It's disgustingly ugly. And growing up in the North, I found that dating somebody in the South, our education is like
Totally different.
polar opposite. I'm like,
Yes.
What did you like? It gets to the point where I have to ask him, "What did you learn?" Well, we learned about what religion. I was like, "We learned about what religion? What school did you go to? A public school?" I went to a Catholic private school for pre-K and kindergarten and part of first grade until I went to public school. Um, I just happened to be in a lottery that got lucky, and it was like that was the only time we prayed, and I had nuns as a church. As a church, I had a nun as a teacher. So like
And those nuns
that,
are mean. They're mean.
Kyle knows.
I went to a Catholic camp, and I just remember how mean the nuns were. I was scared of them. Oh,
Yes, Sister Mary.
they were scary.
But anywho, but that's the only time like religion should be in school when you are paying and electing to put your child in a school that has that religion.
Right.
That's perfectly fine. That I mean,
Right.
if you want to do that, then you are encouraging religion in a child that should actually choose. Now I understand why some people don't baptized right away because you should be able to choose. I mean, I happen to be baptized Methodist, and I know Methodists pretty much practice in my own mind. I can talk to God, which is probably why I'm such an open person because I don't feel like I have to be in a physical place
Me either.
to somebody who's
Ditto.
in my head
To
anyway.
pray. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, that was like five things in one, but that's how my brain works.
That's how my brain works.
You're
too.
spiritual. You're
Yeah.
spiritual.
I'm
spiritual.
communist. Communists believe in all religions have a common core.
Yes. Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, there are good things in all religions, and then there's some things that are twisted.
And they all basically, when it comes down to like the major things, are kind of all the same.
Definitely.
I didn't baptize Cash yet. The girls I did right away in respect for my grandmother. I can understand that. And sometimes it's a family thing, especially in our family. And I think that's why I was baptized because my grandmother pushed so hard
It's a
for me.
tradition.
Hmm.
Yeah,
In some families, it's a tradition.
definitely. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Hey Harriet, you're welcome to come up. But but each culture, each religion, it's we're a melting pot. Everything is supposed to kind of like shift our economy or shift the way we think. In my textbooks in college for business, it literally says diversity is key in bold. I wish I kept that textbook. Because I heard one of the senators, I think I can't remember who it was. One of the senators was having an interview and he was straight up saying, I like my white neighborhood of Europeans. Are you admitting that you're an immigrant pretty much? That you just wanted Europe transferred over because then you should be under a monarchy over there. I don't know. It was just ridiculous. What were we talking about?
Religion.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they all talk about having a great flood. I didn't know that. Hey, Wax Therapy. I didn't know that every religion and culture pretty much talks about when there was a huge flood and there was only a couple survivors, and then a great power emerged and taught them about this culture, and that's how they pretty much came to be who they were. And for was it Christian or Catholics, it would be Noah. And actually, the movie Mohana for Disney is a lot besides the like taking heart part. Like the names are very real. for the gods, and that culture was also one of the cultures that survived the Great Flood and had a god emerge from the water and create help them create their culture. So it was actually pretty cool to read that a lot of cultures and religions had their own story of the Great Flood, especially when you only hear
But
of one.
that makes you believe that it must have happened then.
That too. That too. And that was my other point that I forgot I was going to say. It really makes you believe it had to have happened.
Yeah, because it's all across the world. The same story, except told a little differently, but the same story.
Right. And that's why I believe communism, because they all talk about certain things that either happened or have a common belief that you
Right.
should act a certain way. Now, some take it extremely too far, but in what religion or in what aspect doesn't somebody go too far? But we
Yeah,
need
over
those people to go
exaggerate.
too far. As much as we don't want people to go too far, that's the only way to create change.
Well, I'll be honest with you, some of these religions do it so that they can get their agenda across.
That is true.
Right.
Selfishly, yeah.
It's always been about power. It's always been about control, controlling the people.
Yep.
And there's even proof that a lot of stuff was edited from the Bible, and
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
so yeah, spirituality is my thing. I
That's my
I
thing, too.
I had an awakening when I got sober. I literally had a spiritual awakening,
Me,
and
too.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I had no, I always believed there was something. I would say that I
And
didn't,
candy cane.
I didn't believe in religion, but I have nothing against it. But for me, I just knew in my soul that there is something, but it's not um, that punishing God. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I don't believe in
no.
that.
I don't believe in that either. Um, I believe there's something larger than us,
Hmm.
a source of some sort.
Oh yeah, believe me, I believe it wholeheartedly because of the experience I had, and my life changed so much from going through that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the fact of people always want to talk about something being pushed down their throat, and then there's it creates the fear and so on and so on. I'm referring to not just religion but also like sexuality, because a big thing that people complain about is I don't want you pushing so and so down my throat. Even though some people wear hats and make their truck their personality and wrap their truck and stuff and so on and so on. Um yeah, where was I going?
Yeah, it's hypocrisy. It's completely, but here's the thing: they can't see the forest through the trees. They literally just have no critical thinking skills, and I don't know if it's a certain brain they have or what it is, but I'm telling you, if you can't see through the shit that's going on right now, man, there's something wrong.
I'll be honest with you, Rachel. A lot of people out there don't take the time to do their research. What they do is they go to their favorite channel
I know,
of news and they get their news from one source and they believe everything that that source tells them
right?
and they don't do their research, or they just go off of the internet. Let's say they go to TikTok and
Yeah,
they get all their information off of TikTok and they believe everything that they hear on TikTok and they just go by that. And I hate to say it, but people are like sheep, some of them. They
yeah.
just follow the
Most,
masses. They
most
just
on
It's
both
follow.
sides.
scary. It's scary.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. A lot of people
Yeah,
are, they follow the masses. They don't want to take the time. We're lazy people. We are lazy people, and we just,
It's our own fault.
it's our own fault. Yes.
I
And a lot of
also
people don't do research.
there was also a huge thing going on, okay, in the last election, like when Trump was running for office the first time, where they had proven that there were multiple Russian bots, multiple Russian farms that were promote. So this is what they were doing. They were literally taking like right wing talking points and like very religious and very like just all the indoctrination stuff going on, right? And they would target people that leaned that way. So so like they would see it, but their friends wouldn't see it. You know, they know they already have all the data on us. You know what I mean? Because we've been on social media for so long.
Oh
But
yeah.
all these people were being targeted with their own specific little brainwashing shit going on from Russia.
I feel like Tom wouldn't have let that happen.
Who's Tom?
MySpace.
Oh my God.
Oh, MySpace. That's the one app I've never done.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm just
I
kidding.
don't remember if I had a MySpace or not. That's how long ago that is.
I might have been drinking then. I don't know. And then I wasn't doing much
Christy,
of
I'm pretty sure
anything.
you had a MySpace.
Did I? I don't remember.
It's
You would
been
remember more than I would.
Yeah.
I swear.
um I really like that teachers should be state employees because that would give them more
Better benefits.
more stability.
Well, yes.
And
Because right now,
it would
well,
give
because,
us a better education.
because right now, listen, now it's by county and each county is different. So they get paid different. They
Mm,
get treated different. They have different benefits per county. It's just different.
no, that's true too. And they should have state
Some like I know
employees that
here in
state.
Florida, like, oh, this county's given incentives. Like, if you come to this county, we'll pay you more. You get like $1,000 incentive to get started. It's just crazy. And like other counties, they don't give that
They
same
brought
amount of money.
corporate into education.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And
Um,
they're dismantling public education right now. I'm just letting you
I,
know. They're dismantling it. They want to get rid of it.
I,
And they're also dismantling, look what happened with the post office. This is all part of Project 2025. You guys need to read about it. I'm not,
why are they dismantling the post office?
they're dismantling everything so that they can profit from it in their own way, like create their own education with the vouchers, their own postal services that are all, they want for profit, like the jail for profit. Now, you've heard about all the immigrants that they want to send them to Guantanamo Bay, right? Did
I
you hear
heard they didn't
DeSantis'
want them.
tapes? Did you hear DeSantis saying all that?
Yeah,
So
I must have missed it. No, I didn't.
that was very recent.
they want prisoners they want the money for them. Like they want to get paid. Everything's about money. It's all
Oh,
about
I
money.
don't. I believe that everything's always about money.
There's some dirty shit going on. That's all I can say. And I'm so tired of it that I have to like save my peace. I don't even,
Absolutely.
I haven't even been watching the news. I'll put it on for a few minutes.
This is my thing. Is I can't watch the news anymore. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of seeing everything that's going on.
It's
I
too much.
can't watch
It's
It's
it.
always
It's
a
too
overload.
blame
much.
game. It's always a blame game. It's never a solution game. It's always a blame. It's always blame, 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 and never let's get a solution. This is the
Right.
solution. We're gonna do this. It's always his
Right.
fault, her fault.
Right. There's never a
Right. I
solution.
can't. I can't take it anymore. It's too
No,
stressful,
it is.
and
It makes us ill. It makes us sick.
it
Hey,
does. It
Hill,
makes me very sick.
you're
I
welcome to
can't.
come
I
up if you
can't
want.
deal with it.
Guys, I'm gonna head out. It's getting late.
Thanks,
All
Rachel,
right,
for joining.
Rachel.
Sorry if I was a little crazy. That's how I
Oh
get.
no, you're
A
good. You're
little.
good.
Come
I
back
love
tomorrow.
listening to you. Yeah, please come back tomorrow.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All
You
right.
too.
Good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Oh man.
I really never thought about teachers being state employees.
Yeah, that was my first thing is because I'm like, they're county employees right now, and every county can treat them differently. They can pay them differently per county based on how many kids are in that county, how big the county is. how much money is granted to that county. Where if they were state employees, they could get state funds and grants, stuff
Well,
like
and
that.
then the medical would be state, not state paid, but state
Right,
insurance,
right,
which is
state
a
insurance.
huge difference. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, well, and then who else should be state employees? Are
Huh.
fire, are policemen, or is that separate?
They're county employees.
Oh, because that would fall under different district.
Yeah, because they're working for the county.
That's true. That's true.
Each county they're working for, so they would have to be county employees.
Well, and that's where some of the corruption comes from as well.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm gonna write that down and think of that for later. Because I mean, like, technically, firemen could be right. Because even though they're by county, they're just putting out. How many times do other counties have to call other firemen when there's a issue?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if we just made them federal, we wouldn't have to worry about each
Well, then you would
county.
have to make EMTs the same thing too, because EMTs and firefighters are they go hand in hand.
Well, in my hometown, it ended up to the point where they had to merge EMTs because it just got so big that the county was so big that they were just needing to take over the other ones or something. But
Yeah, like EMTs here, like they are at the fire stations as well. So we have EMTs at the fire stations,
well, and if you think about
ambulances or
that,
whatever.
the smaller rural areas would get just as much attention and equal attention as an area that, well, I mean, it doesn't need equal attention, but it would have equal abilities like access, thank you, like computer access, or like the technology for newer fire trucks, or like, because if you're going by the county for the budget and the county can't afford to have a new fire truck, but you need a new fire
That
truck.
county suffers.
Exactly. But if the state says, oh, well, all fire trucks are paid by the state, well, you're not going to have a problem because the state is going to be able to afford a fire truck. And if the state can't afford a fire truck, then it's got bigger issues than firemen.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It really,
Be state funded and charge each counties a certain amount for that for them to be utilizing these fire departments and
and that
ambulances.
kind of makes sense because that's in tax. You could just have that in your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's based off of where you live, and I mean they do it with insurance, so if you're going to use more of the services in this area, then the people in this area should be paid more. But if the whole as a state you're experience a certain level, then the minimum should be raised, and that's how minimum should be raised, and not just one. I think the last time the federal minimum wage was up was early 2000s. Thanks,
Wow.
Christy. I
You're
didn't even know I
welcome.
had a goal. I didn't set a goal. Odd.
Well, it was there. There was a goal.
Yeah, there was. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
It was
Um,
driving me crazy as it was counting down. So I'm like, it's almost full. Let me just fill it up. It was half full. It's driving me crazy.
and now it's filled.
Yeah,
It
it
was
makes me feel
probably
better.
auto when you went live. Oh, it probably was. It does that some, I guess, if you don't choose a goal, it does an auto goal. Um, it just kind of makes me wonder, where does my taxes go?
I
Like I'm
know.
trying to like think like, what does the state pay for, and like how the state could pay for these things, but at the same time, I'm like, why are they not already doing these things? It's everything is so corrupted, and
Yeah.
everyone's conditioned for the corruptness that they just see left and right instead of corrupt and good.
Well, and this is what gets me. I don't understand why our education across the country is so widely different.
Because the states have control over what they teach.
Exactly. And I don't believe that that's the way it should be. Because
I don't
that
believe it either.
it makes no sense why the states get to decide what is taught to our children. It should just be one solid thing across the board what every child should know, because why should one education be taught one way in one state and different in another state? We're
That's a
not
really
getting
good point.
same education. How that's not fair.
That's a really good point because then you're allowing people of each state to determine what books are allowed. And honestly, it should be a united thing.
Or what classes are allowed.
Right. So why is it okay for 9, 10 people on the Supreme Court to make a decision for the whole country when each state is okay to make a decision for somebody who's going to vote for these people? It's just so backwards. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, it's very corrupted.
Sorry, I got something in my ear.
It's very corrupted. But yeah, I mean, but that's what always bothered me, because I know when I was down here in Florida, when I was 12, I got sent to New York, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was in upstate New York and I got an education. I went to school in seventh grade and I only did 6 months of seventh grade in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came down here to Florida, and what I had learned in 6 months in New York, they didn't catch up for a year and a half to what I had learned in 6 months in New York.
Wow.
I had learned so much in New York in 6 months that Florida couldn't catch up to what I had learned. I was skating for a year and a half.
And that goes back to individuals deciding how a system's going to be run versus a whole system to be run. And
Yes.
that's why it's broken. It was never whole to begin with. It was
No.
always separated systems. So when
Yes.
people say we have a broken system, yes, because
It's
they
what
created a broken system.
exactly. It's completely broken.
My nose is starting to itch. Huh. Thinking. I gotta put my braces back in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, I feel like we talked for a good amount. Oh, we almost talked for an hour and a half.
We had a lot of points.
Yeah. I would love to get like a nice like 6-person table going just to like just to hear everybody because Rachel said a couple of things that I never even knew. And I'm learning more about Project 25 because I'm hearing a lot more about it.
I've never heard of it. What have you heard?
It's pretty much a way to um I guess reestablish us in different terms.
Reestablish our like economy, reestablish us as a people.
Everything, the whole country.
Wow. I need to look that up.
Yeah. I
Do
have
your research, that's important.
hmm um my feet are hot. Ew, what is that? Is that a bunion? Ew, that's gross. Thanks, Coyote Pack. Um I think I'm gonna head off in a couple minutes.
All right.
Tired. I was expecting. I wish I could have got on earlier. It was because I had to run to the store. That took me 20 minutes.
Dang.
You know?
Yeah, I tried to send it out, but I think everybody was like already off.
Yeah, Saturday nights are hard. Oh,
We should do this again because I definitely want to.
yeah. I think I'm gonna try to do this every couple. I don't know. Whenever I feel like it, I guess. Yeah.
You're funny.
Because I don't want to. It's not like debating. It's like
It's like learning and educating with what each other knows, and just hearing
yeah,
each other out. I like that because I'm learning, even with what Rachel said tonight, I'm learning a lot of interesting things from her.
I know. And I'm gonna have to go. Now I'm gonna go. I have things I wrote down that I'm gonna go look.
I know, right? Me too.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
everybody for watching. I appreciate you. Thanks Harriet for coming and sticking around. And I will talk to you later,
All right. Good
Christine.
night.
And good night, everybody. Do something good for somebody else.